If you listen to any of Drake's songs this year, you can hear that there's a common thread, and that common thread is that he's taking old samples, whether it's a Lauryn Hill song or the New Orleans bounce song, I forget the title of it, but he's taking these old songs and he's incorporating them into his new songs. He's not actually sampling them, he's almost using them as like a way to make them the hook. So today we're gonna take a sample that we're gonna be able to clear, and it's super cheap. Anybody can do this. We're gonna take that sample. I'm gonna show you how, just by knowing the key and the BPM, you're gonna be able to match this to any beat you find online. Now, if you're not into production like I am, it probably sounds complicated, what we're about to do. Trust me, it's not. If you can find the key, which I'll show you how to do, and if you can find the BPM, which I'll show you how to do, and if you go to this one website, you're gonna be able to find a sample which you can actually clear for like $50, so you can actually put it on Spotify, YouTube, whatever, profit from it, and not have to worry about any of the legal stuff. So we're actually gonna be able to do this by the end of it. So we're gonna go to my website right now, we're gonna grab a beat, but you can grab a beat from anywhere, I don't care where you grab it from. It'd be great if you grab it from mybestfriendjacob.com. We're gonna go there, we're gonna find a beat, then we're gonna find a sample from this website I'm gonna show you about. We're gonna find the BPM, the key, we're gonna mix the two together in like a couple simple steps. Even if you're a beginner, you're gonna be able to do this. So let's hop into the computer and let's do this. All right, guys, so I'm gonna follow all the steps. I'm gonna imagine that I'm a rapper, and I'm gonna try and forget that I'm a producer, and I kind of know what I'm doing. I'm just gonna totally forget it and think about, I'm gonna be in the shoes of a rapper today, which I once was before, but back into it. So the first thing we wanna do is we'll go find a beat. So I'm just gonna go through here and find a beat that I wanna work on today. All right, so I went to the website and I downloaded a song called Bear Ting. So we'll take a quick listen to it. Something I think Drake could kind of hop on, since we're doing this all based around him. So first things first, we want to find out the tempo, and like I've mentioned before, all of my beats have the tempo on the website. The tempo for this is 80 BPM, or if you wanted to kind of double that, you could go 160, whatever. I'll just put it at 80 right now, and we're pretty much ready to go. Let's just take a quick listen to make sure that that is the case. Cool, so we're all good to go. So now that we have our beat, what we want to do is we want to find a sample that can work with our beat. And this is really simple to do with this website called Traklib. So Traklib allows you, and a lot of producers might know this, but not rappers, is that you can go and you can actually find samples that you can use. So for instance, if we go into the soul section here, and as you can see, for as little as $1.99, we can actually download this song. If you're a producer, you could go in and chop it up. That's not what we're doing today. We're just trying to find something for a hook. But the really cool thing about this is there's a license right here. And as you see, if you just click over it, it's a license C. It costs you $50 to license this track, and then it tells you as far as the revenue sharing, if you have up to 60 seconds, let's just say, so like a third of your 3-minute song, they only want 20%. So it's pretty good splits and stuff, and it's only $50 for you to take an old song and reuse it in something that you're creating today, and not have to worry about it getting stripped off of YouTube and all these other platforms. So it's a really easy way to find tracks. So we're gonna go find a track. Well, now the style is mine. All right, so I found a sample that I want to use. It's called Sons of Gunsmoke, and it sounds pretty crappy, but I'm going to use it because I make the style and crowd. What? I make the style and get you rich. I can probably take one of those. I can chop it up. I can, I can manipulate it. So I'm going to go purchase this. I'm going to bring it into FL Studio. The next thing we want to do is we want to grab the sample and we want to find out what the BPM of that is. You can use stuff like mixed in key. You could tap it out, or what's really great about Traklib is they usually give you the BPM. So as you can see, it's 100 BPM. And we also know that it's F minor. So boom, the key and the tempo, that's so important here. So we're going to drag and drop our sample, F'ing with the worst, in. And I'm just going to take a listen to it and find a spot that could work. I knew my time would come. Now it came. Now a 2-finger ring a chain. I knew my time would come. Now it came. I knew my time. So I knew my time has come, and then it came. I think that could kind of work. But the first thing we want to do is we want to match it to the tempo. So we want to go 100 BPM, and let's just take a listen.
my time would come. Now I knew my time would come. Now it's came. Now it's
So a little bit off. Most of these samples are going to be. Don't worry about that. You want to get as close as humanly possible. So I'm gonna chop it here, and I'm just gonna actually move it just a little bit. I can see it's a little bit off, so I'm just gonna nudge it. The way you can nudge it within FL Studio is Shift, and if you just scroll with your mouse wheel, you can bring it. So I think this is probably it.
I knew my time would come. Now it's came. Now a 2-finger ring a chain. The style is well now. The style.
So that works. I'm gonna chop it off because I only want to use that little section. I'm gonna bring it here. The next thing that I want to do is I just want to make sure that this, basically what I want to do is I want to get back to 80 BPM because we want to make sure that our beat is, that's so important that our beat is on tempo of the project file. The way you can do that is if you just double click here, and most programs would have some sort of stretch enabling. So if you're in any other DAW, just search how to stretch an audio file and it's going to come up. In FL Studio, it's really simple to do. Right click, project tempo. Boom. Because we're on 100 BPM and we know the song is 100 BPM and we listen to it, we just want to make sure that it's on project tempo. The other thing that I will suggest is right in here, it's resample. I would go stretch just for the simple fact that if you don't do stretch, it's just going to slow down my computer. So now that I'm on stretch, you'll see if I start shrinking this down to 80, back to 80 BPM, only the beat is moving. That's because we just locked this to the tempo, so it's not going to move anymore. So now if we go to 80 BPM, and we listen to the sample, it's going to be slowed down.
I knew my time would come. Now it's came. Now a 2-finger ring a chain.
So we still got to manipulate it a bit. I can see it's a little bit off here, but it's not a big issue. Let's just listen to it on top of the sample. I have no clue how this is going to sound.
I knew my time would come. Now it's came. I knew my time would come. Now it's came.
Cool. So we're starting to get there.
I knew my time would come. Now it's came. Now a 2-finger ring a chain.
So it actually works pretty good. I'll just move it over to a section where it's not so much 808, so we can just kind of listen.
My time will come. Now it's came. Now a 2-finger ring a chain.
So there's a couple of different things that we could do here. Now that it's stretched out, I mean, we're pretty much good. Now it's up to you for like your creativity. One of the things that I know probably people are asking about, well, what if it's not in key? What I mean by that is we know because if you were to grab a beat off of my website, I give you kind of the key information, or if it's an older beat, you could always reach out to me. I will give you the key. You can find out the key of the song by using multiple programs. Like there's this great program called Mixed in Key. You literally drag and drop it. It'll tell you the key of the song. I know for a fact that this beat is E minor. And if I go back to the website, I can see that this is in F minor. So we're a little bit off. I would suggest, without getting too technical here, if you just take this, there's a pitch wheel here. Again, most programs will do this. Just pitch it until you find an area that sounds like it kind of works.
My time will come. Now it's came. My time will come. Now it's came. My time will come. Now it's came. Now a 2-finger ring a chain.
So that actually kind of works. It sounds a little bit off just because it's pitched up, but the way I was kind of imagining it was, I think the song is called Nonstop, the one with Drake where he shot the video in London. That has like the kind of the pitch down feel. So now that we're here with this, I know, for instance, one of the things you can do in FL Studio, and you can probably do this in any other program, is if you wanted, you could put effects on it like gross beat and stuff to kind of halftime it, make it sound pitched down. But in FL, you can pitch up here, and you can pitch up or down here. So I know that 12 cents is a full octave. So if I'm going up here, for instance, you're going to hear it get real pitched up. We don't want that. We want the opposite, so we want to go down 12. So what we want to do is we want to start working on where we want our hook to be. The wonderful thing about production and beats is, like, I know that I put a hook here, but you guys can put the hooks wherever you want them. You can move them all around. It's up to you to interpret how the song is actually formatted. I try my best to make them sound as professional and as radio ready as possible, but I know sometimes you might want to rap on a part like that with no 808s and stuff. That's why it's always good to get the stems too, but that's another tutorial for another day. So I'm going to hop into the hook and we're going to start switching this up. Okay, so I know that my hook is here just for the simple fact that I have some extra noises. So let's just take a listen to how it kind of cuts in. So that's kind of cool. If we're going to go off that Drake sort of feel, let's put this on a channel. So if we just double click on that sample that we got from Traklib and we just hit track, boom, it's going to just put it on the first free available track. We don't actually have to do too much to this. I would say we just get rid of some of the low end. So I'm going to put a paramedic EQ, which you would all have access to in any. This is all stock plugins. Let's just listen. Let's just listen without the beat and just see what it sounds like right now. So that's pretty good. So we got rid of some of that low end rumble because we don't need it. I'm going to chop up the sample first, and then we'll find like a cool effect. I think maybe like a little flanger or something, but we don't need to do too much. I think just having the deep vocal effect is kind of all we need to do. So let's take a listen to how we want to chop this up. Maybe new, something like that. So let's bring this down. So let's just say it's going to start again here, but we want to do da. So let's take a chop and let's put this there and we'll go like that. So now it's like dun 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 dun. Oh, sorry. The reason it did that is I'm on stretch. You don't want to be on stretch anymore. So the button's right here. Take a click. That off. So now we go. But you can still have that there. So it's two of them. So now let's just take a listen. Cool. So let's just imagine if that's exactly what we want. And maybe for this one, we'll do the exact same thing that we did before with the two, but we'll actually speed it up. So it's like da 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 da. You know, I'll just so you can see it a bit better. Go like this. Cool. So that's our hook. Now we want to kind of add some effects, do some panning and stuff like that. Again, this is all really super easy to do. I'll double click. I go back to track 1. And I'm just going to use, again, some free stock plugins. Again, most DAWs would come with this stuff. If you're not using FL Studio, I just kind of want you to see the concept of like, you know, you don't have to just buy a beat and take a beat as it is. Like you really can be manipulating things, and that's how these hits are made. So I'm going to do flanger. So let's just take a listen to some of this. All the presets, if you just click, you know, you can click these over. They're just going to show you all the different presets. Or if you actually just click here, it'll show you all the presets. So we're just going to go through until we hear something we like. That's kind of cool. Let's add a delay. Again, so let's go into delay 3. Let's make it a bit quicker. So right now it's on 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. We want to do it 2. So 1, 2, 1, 2. That's how we want it. The offset means stereo or mono. Let's make it stereo. And like we did before, let's worry with some of the cutoff here. So now let's just take a quick listen. Cool. So obviously we don't want it to kind of be happening that much. So we want to play with the volume here. So maybe let's just 50% see what it sounds like. So I'm kind of happy with that. You know, we can go even farther if we want to put some more effects on it. Let's just say, like with the Travis Scott stuff, like we want to do some distortion. There's a bunch of cool little filters and effects and things that we can use in here. But one of the simple ones, it's it's called fast distortion. Again, stock plugin. Let's click this. It's going to be really distorted here. I'll fix it in a sec. I just want to show you. So I definitely don't want that. So I'm going to fool around with just the mix of how. Cool. So that's kind of starting to sound like what we were going with. So what we were going for. And lastly, what we can do is we can actually fool around with some of these with some of the automation, so it sounds like it's kind of jumping around. So I showed you automation before. Again, it's really simple. Basically, all we're doing is we're telling the computer what we want to do. So I know in FL Studio, that's left and that's right. And if it's in the center, it's in the center. So what I can do is I can right-click, create automation. So when it does these chops here, maybe we want to go, let's click, right-click, all the way over, all the way down, all the way, and then back to the middle. So it just kind of, I don't know. We'll just see how it sounds. So it goes. Same thing with the end. We'll just kind of draw this in. Cool. Let's just see what it sounds like, not pitched down low. Maybe that's something you want to do. Again, automation. I'm not saying it's wrong. I'm not saying it's right. Whatever works with you and your verse. So again, right click on that. You can do automation. So right now, I'm just going to drag this up just so you guys can see it. Right now, it's all the way to the bottom, which means that it's low voice. But we want to do, let's say, high verse for the beginning here. So let's go back up to the middle, 50%, which means that, and you'll actually show you so you know exactly what I'm doing here. So at 50%, it's going to go there. If you were to go all the way up, you're going to see that goes all the way up. If you go all the way back to like down, it's going to go all the way down. So what we want to do is just make it natural and normal again so that the pitch isn't shifted at all. So we'll bring this up to 50%. You can tell it's 50% right here. It'll tell you. So 50%. And if you want, a really quick way, so always knows that you're good, is you can actually type in the value. So we could actually, I mean, it's already there, but we could type that in. But what we can do is right click. If we hit copy value and then we click here, and if I just go paste value, it's going to bring it right to 50%. But then at here, when it switches off, we want it to, I'm just going to bring this over here, right click, paste 50%. We want it to drop back down. So now it's going to go up and down. So. You know what even cool there? It's like we can kind of pitch it down. So paste value, so it's there. And now it's slowly going to drag down. Cool. So that's like a cool little way to do that. If you even wanted to take this even farther, like the Drake effect again. So I'm going to hit track. It's going to put it on a channel. Drake would like filter out a lot of the high end on the beat. So paramedic EQ. I don't want any of these little middle buttons here, so I'm just going to get rid of them. I could right click them all and hit delete, but if in FL Studio, you can actually hit preset if you just go over twice. This is all I'm looking for. So basically what I want to do is I want to roll off this high end just where that hook comes in. So I'm going to create automation. We'll give it the Drake effect. So we're just affecting the beat. So the beat, I'm just going to mute all this stuff up here just so we can listen. So let's say right here, we don't want the beat to be so, we don't want it to sound like with all the high end. See how it's all filtered out now? Then we want it to right click, hit a button there, and come back so it's all natural. So, or you could even do the opposite. You could go down so it sounds like it's like the record almost stopping. Like now we put in the tools here. We know that our song is in E minor. If we wanted to, let's just go back here. Let's just do tracks. If you wanted, you could actually go here. So go song key. Find E minor. And this is like with the Kanye approach. So let's just take a listen to this. So in like Famous, all these other songs, Kanye would just take snippets from all these songs that are in the exact same key, and he'll just throw them in. So this could be how a bridge. Let me try and find something here.
sweet foxy thing, you.
That's kind of cool. Let's grab that. So that's cool. If we wanted, we can match the tempo and stuff. I'm not going to go through all that right now because we could do something like this. So we know there's a little breakdown here. And then the beat comes. This is where like this is what Kanye would do. So he would take a song that's in the same key and go like this. And have a whole new sample come in. So this could be a little breakdown for you.
Ooh, you sweet foxy thing, you. I wonder would you do me this one favor? Ooh, baby.
Boom. And then like the beat could come right back. The beat could come right back in there. I'm going to put this, again, hit track. I'm just going to do something simple here, put in a cool little delay. I'm going to leave that on. I'm going to bring that to 2. I'm going to make sure it's stereo by hitting offset. I'm going to switch some of this here. I'm going to create automation with that. All the things I was just showing you how to do. I'm just going to move this up so you can see it. And then right before it leads out, I'm going to go real big. I'm just going to get rid of that. Maybe even the tone. We don't want it to be so. Cool. Boom. Perfect. And we have it drag off there. And if you even wanted, you could grab this again. This is our hook. All right, so I quickly move this around. Just take a listen. So it's going to go from this sample into that other sample from Traklib back into our beat. Not saying this is what you want to do, but this is kind of the Kanye approach, how he takes little bits from other songs that are in the same key. So just take a listen.
I wonder would you do me this one favor? Ooh, baby.
Cool. So there you go. How you can take a sample from Traklib, you can match it to a beat that you purchased or you downloaded for free, and you can take other multiple samples and kind of weave them in as well too if you want to kind of tell a story through those other little bits. So that's everything you need to do a Drake sounding hook from his latest LP. So I hope that was helpful. If you have any questions, Jacob at My Best Friend Jacob, you can leave comments below. Make sure you subscribe. www.mybestfriendjacob. Go grab some beats. The beat we used today was Bear Ting, produced by myself with an Ill Mind sample. Go check it out. Hey, if you stuck around this far, why not grab some free beats? Hit the link in the description below and I'll send you 5 of my best-selling beats directly to your email for free. Plus, if you join that mailing list, I'm going to be sharing with you a bunch of information that'll be helpful in your career, because that's what best friends are for.